The Ghost Watch.
Unit 731 was an infamous Imperial Japanese chemical and warfare unit that operated from 1935 to 1945. This covert unit was known for its heinous and downright evil experiments on living humans, men, women, and children, mainly prisoners of war and civilian prisoners from China, Korea, and the Soviet Union. The unit even called the innocent people they experimented on logs, or Maruta. Unit 731 was one of several units of the Imperial Japanese Epidemic Prevention and Water Purification Department. An estimated 3,000 plus were killed from experiments from within Unit 731's building. Also, an estimated 200,000 plus were killed from biological warfare, mainly tested on innocent Chinese villages and towns. Here are some of the awful experiments to have taken place. Vivisection of living people without anesthesia, which vivisection is a surgery performed on a living organism to see the internal structure of a living creature. Frostbite testing. Prisoners would have their extremities dunked in ice-cold water for long periods of time until they were frozen, and then the unit would try to warm up the limbs at a rapid rate using fire or hot water. Living prisoners were also used for weapons testing, from handguns and rifles to bayonets and grenades. Prisoners were also crushed to test crush injuries. Some were deprived of food and water, or only giving salt water to drink. Blood transfusions of animal blood or mismatched blood types were performed to test different transfusions and blood clotting. Long-term X-ray exposure was performed. The effects of high and long-term G-force were tested by spinning the innocent prisoners on a large centrifuge. Women were forcibly impregnated and raped. They were impregnated so the fetus could be tested after the other experiments. Syphilis was tested by forcing male prisoners to rape female prisoners as well as other male prisoners to see how rapidly it could spread. Bacteriological warfare was also tested. The unit bred the most lethal strains of various bacteria and viruses and ejected prisoners with it. They also loaded up a clay bomb using fleas infected with the Y. pestis bacteria. Y. pestis is known as the bacteria that causes the plague. These flea bombs were dropped on Chuzhou, a Chinese village, and infected most of the village and neighboring towns. The unit did a similar experiment with anthrax as well. After the nuclear bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Imperial Japan surrendered and Unit 731 was finally shuttered. In 1949, the Soviet Union tried some of the researchers at the Khabarovsk war crimes trials, while the U.S. did not try any of the researchers, instead secretly obtaining information from them in exchange for immunity.